They cannot keep getting away with this. The Brooklyn Nets have had the best scorer in the NBA on their roster for the last 3 years, and magically he doesn't get any PT? What is this? A slow start to the year for the Nets, but they have a really good core. I'm really excited about it with Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Spencer Dinwiddie. They've lost 2 games by a combined like 9 points. Nothing to be worried about. Actually, I think it's by a combined like 6 points. Nothing to be worried about. Claxton is out for a little while, so is Cam Johnson. We'll talk about that later, though. Ben Simmons has been good. We're going to talk about him a little bit today. They still got Dorian Finney-Smith, Royce O'Neal. A really, really good defense here in Brooklyn, but they haven't really been playing like it so far. So we're going to get into that, as well as the Cam Thomas story, the story that has taken over the NBA right now. We've got the second version of Michael Porter Jr. on our hands. So yeah, we're going to talk about all that and more. Make sure to hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button. As you can see here, majority of our audience is not subscribed. Don't let that be you. Be one of the 3.6%. That's the cool percent on that chart right there. So now let's go ahead and get started with, Cam Thomas. He has arrived to the NBA. He started like 7 games, and as an NBA starter, he is averaging 33.7 points per game. Absolutely wild stuff out here. Through 2 games this year, Cam Thomas is averaging 33 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. And that's not even the craziest part. I feel like he could probably lead the NBA in scoring if he started. He's going to win a scoring title at some point in his career because he's still like 22 years old. 63% from the field, 33% from 3, and he's doing it in 29 minutes a game. 33 points a game in 29 minutes. That is over a point per minute. Absolutely wild. Averaging 41 points per 36 minutes. Insanity. He just almost outdueled Luka Doncic, who just went bonkers against the Nets the other night. But he was going shot for shot with that man down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Half of the Brooklyn Nets possessions are stalled out, and then they give it to Cam Thomas, and he puts up some buffoonery at the end of the shot clock, and it goes in. Cam Thomas has arrived. Now, they have had some early injuries that they've been struggling with. Cam Johnson, like we said, has been out. I believe he's got a calf issue, and then Nick Claxton has an ankle issue, or it could be vice versa. But both of those guys missed the second game of the season, and they are out tonight against the Charlotte Hornets. Keep in mind, this video is being recorded at 6:35 on October 30th. I do have to pre-record videos a little bit sometimes, just due to a busy schedule. But this is a generational defense for the Brooklyn Nets. However, they are 29th in defensive rating. On paper, this should be the best defense in the NBA since like the Detroit Pistons in 2003, 2004, with Ben Simmons leading the way at the point guard spot. That's what he does, is play defense. They got guys like Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Royce O'Neal, Dorian Finney-Smith that are strictly 3-and-D wings. McCall's a little bit more than a 3-and-D wing. Cam Johnson can create his own shot a little bit. And then they also have Nick Claxton down in the paint anchoring that defense. This defense should be a whole lot better than 29th. And then Ben Simmons is back. 7 points a game, 10.5 rebounds, and 8 assists so far through 2 games. Now, I know he's not really scoring it like he was during his prime in Philadelphia, but a block, a steal and a half per game, 50% shooting, that is a stereotypical Ben Simmons stat line that you got from him when he was in his glory days. If the Nets want to start winning games, they need more from Ben, or they need more of the same from Ben Simmons. Maybe a few more points a game, but just leave the scoring to Cam Thomas. They do have a couple of other guys stepping up on the offensive side of things. One is Lonnie Walker, their free agent addition, and then Spencer Dinwiddie as well, who is averaging 14 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 2 assists in an expanded role now that Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton are both out. He really would only be getting a little bit of Cam Johnson's minutes, but he's shooting at 47% from 3 to start the year on 7.5 attempts per game. Very nice stuff there from Spencer Dinwiddie. And then Lonnie Walker, 14 points a night, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Now, I don't expect Lonnie Walker's production to continue for a couple of reasons. Number one is his field goal percentage is a whopping 57% right now, and number 2 is his three-point percentage is a whopping 67%. He came out of the gates hot, that's for sure. That's not sustainable, though. But shout out to Lonnie Walker for stepping up early in the year. Now, I expect for Mikal Bridges to heat up down the stretch. 19 points a game, 5 rebounds, 3.5 assists for Bridges so far in this season. That is way down from his numbers last year. His efficiency is way down, shooting at only 41% from the field right now, 34% from 3 in 36 minutes. Again, though, I'm not really worried. Mikal proved last year that he could be a high-volume scorer, lead a team, even though he's really going to be second fiddle to Cam Thomas on the offensive side of the ball. But last year, he was really good. He put up 26 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, 2.7 assists. So overall, a really good season from Mikal Bridges last year, and I expect that to carry over into this year. He's just got to heat up a little bit. Again, he shot at 48% from the field and 38% from three over a much larger sample size than we've got from this season. So Mikal Bridges, he's going to be fine. Don't worry about him. He will be he'll be back to normal before long. Now, the secret weapon that the Nets have, he is still rehabbing from injury, is Dariq Whitehead. Of course, he had surgery in the offseason, but this is a guy that I think, if he puts it all together, could be the steal of the draft. He could be elite for this Nets team. We'll see, how everything plays out, but he is a guy to keep an eye on in Brooklyn. They also have a couple of elite 3-and-D guys. Royce O'Neal averaging about 11 points a game on the young season, and Dorian Finney-Smith averaging about 7, 8. So both of those guys, really good 3-and-D wings. Great things to have on a squad that's, trying to make a run into the playoffs. Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, also 3-and-D wings, but like I said, they can do a little bit more on the offensive side of the ball. Now, can they turn it around? Yes, they've had a slow start, but like I said, they've lost their first 2 games by a combined 6 points. Cam Thomas is a closer for this team, and that's one of the things I was worried about for them, but hey, they seem to have that on wraps. Yes, they have a 3-game road trip, but those are 3 very, very, very winnable games. Because if they don't win those games, then they got Boston, then they got Milwaukee, and then they have the Clippers. Then they have Boston again. So you got to find a way to win 2 of those games over that stretch, and you got to win the next 3, and then you can be, 5-4? Playing Washington and Orlando at home. That's much better than the alternative. It could get a little bit iffy here in Brooklyn if they don't start to turn it around soon. And without Cam Johnson, without Nick Claxton, it could be tough. Look for Mikal Bridges. Look for Cam Thomas to really take things into their own control. Charlotte Hornets tonight. We'll see how that plays out. Of course, if you watch any of this channel, I am a Charlotte Hornets fan. One of very few. We are a dying breed, honestly. There wasn't many of us in the beginning, but a dying breed. So I'm going to be pulling my Hornets through, but the Nets will probably win that one. We'll see, though. But like I said, Brooklyn, if they're looking to turn it around, they need to go ahead and get on it because they got a rough stretch coming up after the end of this 5 or 4 game road trip. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like button and hit the subscribe button as it'll really help us out in the YouTube algorithm. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.